Obviously, this has been a horrible 24 hours. Um, and as a parent, it absolutely crushes your heart to think about this. And when something like this happens, it can be so wrong and so arbitrary. Uh, we found out about it literally as we were leaving the building yesterday after practice, and I immediately went home and spent the time with my family, and we just immersed ourselves in watching for about 3 hours, and it just got worse and worse. And you really think about the family. You think about the families on the helicopter, not just Kobe and his daughter, which is just so heartbreaking, and thinking about the 3 kids and Vanessa he leaves behind, but the coach and his family and the other families on that helicopter. It just makes no sense. And then the last few hours here, it's like time's moving in slow motion. I spent a little bit of the afternoon with Nick Harrison, and he was reminiscing on USA basketball, and he still has all these photos of the experiences he and Jenna shared with Kobe and his family. Malik Allen grew up and played on a lot of the same AAU teams coming up through Philly. Pat came by. We spent some time, reminiscing, even talking about his very first game in the Miami Arena. And it's just tragic, and our hearts go out to all the families. I think we can all relate to that as parents. That's just absolutely tragic and heartbreaking.
Erik, yesterday, Pop and Doc, they talked about what a tenacious player he was. In March of 2011, you beat the Lakers. Kobe had an off night. He goes back on the court afterwards, taking shots. What did that say to you about his work ethic?
Look, it was unmatched, unparalleled, how much of a savage he was as a competitor. And he was willing to do anything and put in whatever amount of time. That's one story that you all have heard about. We have so many more of those when he's in our practice gyms, staying and catching another ride home as a team would leave. That was common. His stories were legendary. I still remember the first time I met him. I was an assistant coach, and one of my responsibilities were with the young players, and Rasul Butler and I walked out and had an early workout. And so the veterans would always have the best time slotted to work out before the game, so we had to get in and get in our work way before everybody. And we thought we got in here 4.5 hours before anybody else would be on the court, and Kobe was already on the court. And he was the painstaking detail and focus he was putting into that workout was remarkable, that Rasul and I ended up just watching about 15, 20 minutes of it. Then we went back to work, and as Kobe finished up his workout, he came down and sat down, and it was a surreal moment as a young assistant coach. I was like, wow, is he going to sit here and watch this workout? Well, Rasul obviously was from Philly, so they knew each other, and Rasul ended up introducing me to him. And what I found so amazing about that moment, the reason I bring it up, is because there was nobody that was going to be more fierce or more of a savage as a competitor. And yet the next 2 minutes of what Kobe was doing to encourage a young player was simply amazing. And that was early mentorship when he was still a young player in this league. But Rasul wasn't playing at the time, and Kobe could separate the two things and offer a lot of encouragement, basically telling him, hey, if you stick with this, that kind of workout, you're going to earn your spot in this league. It's just a matter of time. And then to come out in that game and just try to destroy everybody. It was paradoxical almost, those two kind of personalities, but very giving. And then we all saw that later on in his career where he was such a mentor, but as one of the fiercest competitors you could ever come across. And there was something about our games with LA, they just felt electric. And when Dwayne obviously joined our franchise, it just went to a different stratosphere, but that electricity came from Kobe and his competitiveness and what he would do to raise the level of everybody's play in the game. So that memory stands out. And then for whatever reason, I remember his second year. I do remember this vividly in the Miami Arena. He was still a teenager, and we were beating them fairly handily. And then he came in the fourth quarter, and it's not that if he scored 40, it was just he got his minutes, he got his opportunity at that moment in the game, and played well going down the stretch. And then we all would meet in Pat's office after the game, and I was just a video guy, so I just sit in the back. But I vividly remember Pat saying, "Wow, Jerry was right. That kid is going to be special." And I just thought that was super unique. Anybody that knows Pat, he's not super complimentary of young players, and certainly not of somebody on another team. But that one caught my attention, and then obviously he made everybody a believer very quickly after that.
Erik, you talked about Kobe and Dwayne, and it seemed like they had this respect for each other as vicious competitors. In fact, Kobe, I think, complimented Dwayne after Dwayne broke his nose in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Can you talk about their relationship, the rivalry, and how maybe how Kobe fueled Dwayne and maybe vice versa?
Well, you've probably heard about it. Dwayne used him as the motivation for certainly early on in his career, that he was chasing Kobe's respect. Think about that. Dwayne wanted to play at a level high enough where his competitor would say, "Hey, this is a really good player," and that's why those matchups were electric. There was just something about playing the Lakers. We only play them twice a year, but it felt different. It felt like the big stage, and those two would go after each other. But it was a friendship. It was born out of respect. And then when they played USA basketball together, then it was forged through fire and a lot of time behind the scenes. But the respect both ways was immense, and it was real. It was real. They were able to separate competition and friendship. And if you didn't know them, you'd think, "Whoa, this is intense," and then you'd see them right after the game, hugging and staying in contact and all that.